Are you upset that the madness of March basically ruined your bracket and your chance at a billion? Because there are no, perfect brackets at this point. It's the WC with a Sweet 16, Elite 8, and it's basically like the midway point through the brackets. I mean, it's about maybe 2 more weeks of college basketball. Sweet 16 and Elite 8, and then the Final Four finally towards the end of the month. But I just wanted to come back with a straight up reaction video to basically the first the last 4 days of college basketball, which has been crazy. I mean, you've seen so many teams go down, so many young teams come up and rise up, to the occasion. I mean, it's just one of those things where you can sit there and say that this is arguably one of the most shocking NCAA tournaments that you'll probably ever see. You'll see 11 seeds, 14 seeds. I mean, it's just wild, man. I mean, Duke falling down the first round, Ohio State going down the first round. I mean, there's just so many shockers, in the tournament. I'm not saying anything brand new by this point, but what I want to do in this video is give a Sweet 16, Elite 8, and try to reshape the Final Four. I mean, just debate, according to who's won and who I think has potential to win it all from the remaining teams that's in the tournament. Now, let's start with the Sweet 16 matchups. Let's start with Florida and UCLA. I still got Florida winning the national championship, so of course I'm going to take them. Um, in the other South region game, you have an 11 versus a 10. Now, how many people had an 11 versus a 10 in the South bracket? Not me. Dayton versus Stanford. I think that this year Dayton is the Cinderella of this dance, and I think that they go on to beat Stanford. I think that they're just a better overall team than Stanford. No disrespect to Stanford, Stanford can win this game, but I just don't see them beating Dayton at this point. If Dayton can take out Ohio State and Syracuse, yeah, I don't think that Stanford's going to get in their way. Um, Going over to the West region, you have Arizona and San Diego State. I think that there's a lot of people that picked that scenario, that matchup. I think that Arizona is just a stronger team, so they'll go on to the Elite Eight, and then you have Baylor versus Wisconsin. I got Wisconsin advancing there. You know what I'm saying? And that other West Sweet 16 matchup, and we're going down to the Midwest with Kentucky taking out Wichita State. I could have seen that coming. You know what I'm saying? Because Wichita State is, a team that really hasn't been completely challenged. And, Kentucky is definitely one of their biggest challenges that they've had the entire season. So, I expected that to happen. Louisville, I predicted that they were going to be in the Final Four. So, I think I'm going to go with the defending champs in that situation. Then you go down to the other matchup in the Midwest for the Sweet 16. Tennessee and Michigan. And I mean, you can see that Tennessee was one of those teams that they had to play their way into the field. They won 3 straight. They won the most out of everybody that's in the field right now in the tournament. I think they're still left in the tournament. I'm just going to go with Michigan here. Michigan is a team that was in the national championship game last year, along with Louisville, and I think that's going to be a rematch of last year's national championship game. And then you go over to the East region, Connecticut. Now, if you watch my preview video, you said I told you guys that Connecticut is a team that could come from out of nowhere and shock people. But I think that their run ends here against Iowa State, because Iowa State, in my mind, is just a better team. So I think that they'll fall to Iowa State. And probably the most intriguing match. I mean, some people might say that Louisville, Kentucky might be the most intriguing match of the Sweet 16. But I'm just going to say that Virginia, Michigan State is the most intriguing match, because arguably the winner of this game could be the national champion. And I'm going with I'm just going to stick with Tom Izzo and the Michigan State Spartans. I think the Virginia has had a great season, but there's just something telling me that they're just not going to have enough to take down these guys, man. There's just something in the back of my brain that's saying that. So Elite Eight, real quick. Let me start backwards. Michigan State, Iowa State, and like I said, I think that Michigan State advances to the Final Four. Let me go over here to um, the Midwest region again. The Michigan and Louisville matchup. I think that Louisville is going to take that matchup. Um, in the West region, Wisconsin and Arizona. Arizona is just a better overall, rounded off team. I think that Arizona advances to the Final Four, and of course, with Dayton taking on Florida in my prediction, I think that Florida is just going to end the Cinderella story and advance to the Final Four. So my Final Four matchups is going to be, according to me, going to be Michigan State versus Florida and Arizona versus the defending national champion Louisville. That's what my Final Four is. Louisville, Michigan State, Florida, and Arizona. Now, I could be wrong, but I doubt it. Alright. Let me know what you guys think down below. This is an update video. I'm going to give a breakdown video on the Final Four. Um, Probably the week of the 24th. Not the week of the 24th. Probably after the Elite Eight games and everything. After the Final Four has been set. So let me know what you guys think is the WC. And I'm out for now.